The first time I went in Hawaii, his older sister asked me, okay, can I ask you a question? Yes. Do you have a shower in France? Yes. Well, I don't understand what she asked me.
They have showers. They don't use it, but they have it.
I never saw a garage like that.
I love that.
It's like you are the first to bring your bike in. It's new. Everything is new, except you and the bike.
Very well. We have Christophe Bergeron. Did I say your name right?
Christophe Bergeron.
Bergeron. Very well. He came to my house through a network called Bunk-a-Biker, which is a network of basically motorcycle enthusiasts that want to help each other. So we host, we visit, we try to help in any way we can. And it's going very well. So I had a few guests already, and Christophe arrived 2 or 3 days ago. And
24th.
Exactly. And tell us, what are you doing?
Sorry?
What are you doing? You are going around the world, or what is the story?
My project some years ago. My project in 2020 is go from France across Russia and Europe and Russia to Japan, and from Japan in Indonesia, Australia, South America, Central America, North America, and back France. But like I have a family, and I don't want to go for 1 year or more. I decide to say, okay, 5 continents, 5 travels. But I make the European tour in 2018. Big one from the south to the North Cap in Norway, and all the Estonia, Lithuania, and all this country. And the following year I go 2 times to go to Mongolia, but with different difficulties. I can go to Mongolia. I stop 1 time in Iran and the other time in Russia. And I decide, okay. And when the pandemic arrived, everything is closed for everyone where we are. And I say, okay, when it's open, I go. And in the end of last year, I saw in South America, everything is open more or less, but with PCR or some antigenic or some difficulties, but just administrative difficulties. And I go, except I think Peru opens the border, and Peru don't open the border. So when I met Jay, the other biker from US, I have the opportunity to go to Chile with a boat for 3 weeks, my bike to Panama, or 1 day from Argentina to Florida, and I chose 1 day. And I arrive and I skip all the north of South America and the Latin America. So probably I come back another year to make this part. And I arrive and the first time when I went in Norway, I don't know how I know Bunk-a-Biker Norway. And so I try to stay Bunk-a-Biker in Canada, in US, South America, And I send you a message, and I arrive in your house, and thank you for the hospitality.
Oh no, it's been great, and we had an opportunity to have dinner, and now we are having some beers, and I'm keeping this tradition of talking, doing the podcast, doing this conversation with people that have good stories to tell. To me, that's the center idea of the podcast, and people that travel a lot usually have great stories. In fact, you have good and not good, but you forget the not good, and you keep every time the good one. Exactly.
And sometimes it's so funny because it's different. The things are different than the country where you're from, and this is a discovery. but in the same time is a way to open mind.
Yeah.
Because you must accept the difference, and it's what I say to the people in France. They told me, "Oh, you go for the big adventure." No, just I go. It's not. I'm not somebody different. Just I go, and the main things you must do, all you things know, and all the, I don't know the word in English, when you have some, you think the things in this part of world is like that, because you hear on the TV, on the radio, or somebody take all this one, take on the left on the table and go, and go with like a empty page, and get everything, and after you can have your opinion on.
Yes, I have a few countries that that are not a few, many countries that I decided to not visit for many different reasons, and in 2012 I ended up going to Ukraine, but I was very determined to not go to Eastern Europe because I thought it was going to be poor and disorganized and fucked up, and when I went in 2012 it was poor and disorganized and fucked up, but I love it. I made so many friends and it was so much fun. And I went to Romania and then Ukraine, and I visited Moldova, and that opened my eyes. I thought, if I was so wrong about this, then I could be wrong about all the other countries that I don't want to visit, right? So that opened the possibility of going, even though I'm still not enthusiastic about some countries, but at least I know that I can be wrong about that. And if I go and I make my own opinion, the opinion may be that I don't like it, but now I see the value of going in person at least once, and then having your opinion.
This is so funny because I remember the first time I went in Hawaii, because I have some real Hawaiian people like friend, and I arrived and his older sister asked me, "Okay, can I ask you a question?" Yes. Do you have a shower in France? Yes. Well, I don't understand what she asked me. Because
no, they have showers. They don't use it, but they have it.
And she tell me, "Oh, because somebody told me French people never take a shower, never wash." And I said, "No, I take a shower each day, 2 times a day." But sometimes you have some information wrong, and
I like to talk about stereotypes, because stereotypes are a general description of a group of people, right? They are a time saver, because most of the time they are correct. The problem is that when you meet the individual, then you need to leave the stereotypes behind and figure out what that individual does, because the individual is what you're actually relating with, right? So if you don't have the time, the stereotypes help. You're going to a country and they say, well, it's all crazy over here and it's easy over there. All right, you go with that if you don't have time to do proper research. But if you do have time, it's better. But later, at some point, you will have to deal with people individually.
But this is in fact, stereotype. Thank you, because I learned a new word in English. Stereotype is for everyone, and in fact, in US or in France or in Europe or in Australia, all the people we live in the country are different. Each one is different, so each one is not a stereotype. Is just something truth. Maybe at the beginning, but false in fact, because each one is different.
You need to be careful. If you take the stereotype too far, then you can make too many mistakes. And you're going to notice that in an embarrassing situation.
It's like the people seeing French people when you have a caricature is with a berry.
Oh yeah, the
baguette.
The baguette.
Baguette and cheese.
And the shirt is stripes, right? Stripes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I never
saw one like that.
That. I don't eat too much bread.
Yeah.
Because it's not my favorite food.
But when I go to France, I eat a lot of baguette. Oh my God, the bread, that is amazing.
Maybe if I bought like that on the day,
the little one,
the half go in the trash because I don't eat.
Yeah, I had a great time riding through France, and about half of the times that I went to France, I had a passenger with me. And the other half I didn't. I was riding alone. When I ride alone, I really like to camp. If I'm riding with a girl that she likes camping, then okay, I'll do it. But otherwise, then I prefer to not to. But when I did camp in France or in Belgium and in Italy, I would around 4 in the afternoon, going through some village, I would stop at a little market and get a baguette and some pate and cheese or some slices of meat, right? And a bottle of wine. And that was dinner. And that is like €5, €6 for everything, right? It's cheap. So, and that would be a very nice dinner. And then we would keep going. And when it's about sunrise time, we would find some place and camp there and then have a dinner. And in many places, I was even able to do like a fire, to make a fire and then have dinner in front of the fire. It was amazing because surprising to me, or may not be very surprising, actually. The food is not just great. Like you expect that the food in France will be great and the food in Italy will be great.
Everywhere.
What was surprising is that even the food in the gas station was great. Like I went to, first time that I was going through, and I would stop at the gas stations and buy the sandwich that come in a baguette and they are wrapped in a gas station. And the first time I had one, I was like, whoa, this is one of the best sandwiches I ever had, ever. And it was from the gas station, right? So I thought, if this is what the kind of food they have in the gas station, I can't wait to see what they are cooking in the restaurant, right? And in fact, my greatest food experiences were in Belgium, France, Spain, Italy, and Greece. Like the food in Greece is unbelievable. And in Spain, I did some motorcycle riding, but I also walked, through a Camino. And so you go village by village, you know, and you try this, you try that, you go to a farm and they sell cheese and you buy some cheese and you buy a bottle of wine from the next farm. It's like you go walking and eating and drinking the entire time over there. And everything's so good.
Yeah, but I think, I'm French and everybody knows the French cooking and speak about the French cooking like the best cooking in the world. Yeah, it's true. This is a good food, but you have the same thing in Spain, in Italy, in US.
Yeah, I would say that my experience with food in those countries was all amazing. Not saying that it was shitty anywhere else, but it's in Spain, France, Italy, Belgium, and Greece. I would say Bosnia as well. Oh man, like it's not just a different recipe. It's a different food culture.
Yeah.
For example, in France, it's very normal that you make a reservation to a restaurant and they will reserve a table for you.
Yeah.
That table is yours for that evening. It's not like you have to come in at 7, someone else is using that table at 8. You know, it's not that common. Like, I went to some restaurants there that they would make dinner for you. Yeah. You know, if they have 10 tables, they are selling 10 dinners.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then after that, it's a bar. You know, but some of those experiences, like having dinner with my French friends in their homes, it was always like that. Dinner is an event that is going to take 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
And they are going to serve this, and then it's amazing. And then they serve the other thing, and then it's amazing. And then they serve dinner. And then, you know, they open the 3rd bottle of wine. It's like very slow.
Before the aperitif.
Yeah. So it's a very slow process.
Yeah.
And I am trying to do that in my life. You know, when I cook a dinner, I always remember, try to make this slower.
Yeah.
You know, try to enjoy it a little more, and also have better ingredients. You know, because I love cooking.
Yeah.
And I'm paying a lot more attention to ingredients, buy fresher and nicer. And I don't. And I noticed that in all these places, like, they give a lot of attention to food as the center of social experience.
Yeah, but the ingredient is very important, because if you could be the best chef in the world, if you have not the good ingredients, you make nothing. You make just food.
Yeah.
But if you want to make really good cooking, you need to have. It's like everything. If you go to the mechanic store for your bike or your car, if the mechanic guys don't have the right tools, it don't make a good job. Yeah. You need to have all the tools to do.
It happened already that I arrive at a shop to fix my bike or to change oil or something, and the mechanics are listening to music very loud. I go away. I don't trust that they are paying attention.
Yeah.
You know, if they are listening to music loud, some music is okay, but if the music is blasting, I don't trust. I don't trust that they will be in the moment.
Yeah.
Because you need to hear and pay attention. You communicate with another one, ask an opinion.
And just the noise of the engine.
The noise of the engine. Music interferes with that.
Yeah.
And also, I remember sometimes arriving at a mechanic, and they had the tools all organized, and they knew where everything was, and then you feel, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. And in comparison, in some places you look at it and it's like a pile of tools, and everything is mixed. And I think he may be looking for a part. If you go there and you move something from here to here, he'll search for it for a week.
Yeah. And this is funny, because in the same time you told that, the story about what you feel for the mechanic guys. When I went last summer, I went in Iceland for 1 month. Huge country and really good time. All in gravel roads, but it's very, very. And when I come back in Denmark, I need to change my off-road tires to
city tires.
No city, but maybe I ride in Iceland. Tire is 50% road, 50% off-road. Okay. And when I arrive in Europe, in Denmark, I use 30% off-road, 70% road.
Okay.
And I wait I try to find a place to change my tire. When on the way to go, I found a place, but the guy, I send a message and say, okay. And when we arrive, I say, I'm sorry, I'm sick, I can't. So I found another place. Some French guy told me, another place, maybe 250 kilometers. Okay, I go with you. And we arrive. I never saw a garage like that. When we arrive, bring your bike. And I put my foot on the stand bike and say, done. And he put a piece of wood under, because everything is clean everywhere. And I don't remember exactly, he makes something verse on the floor and take a up and clean immediately.
Yeah.
I never saw a garage like that.
I love that.
It's like you are the first to bring your bike in. It's new. Everything is new except you and the bike.
Yeah, I love that. And when I do maintenance and I'm removing something, I put a paper. I unroll some paper, and then each part that I take, I put the part on the paper and I write with a Sharpie what it is if necessary. So I know the sequence. And I put numbers. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then later when I'm putting back, I can go back into the same sequence, right? And sometimes, if I think that I may be later in doubt of what is the position of a part or something, so I take a photo with my phone, right? So in each photo, if I have any doubt, I can go back and look at the photograph, and I see how things should be. So, but especially in motorcycle with a lot of small parts, it's better to put a paper and write the sequence.
And pick picture.
Make notes, or if you need, or if you're looking at the manual, and you see that a certain, like a screw, for example, has to be under a certain torque. So you write the torque on the page already. You write it right there. And then later when you come back, you don't need to go to the manual again to see what's the torque. You already wrote it down. Right?
You are ready to work for the NASA.
For
the countdown.
Do you know that book, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance?
No.
You know that one? Oh, it's a classic. It's the book that actually made me become a biker. It's from the 70s, I believe. And it's the author tells a story of his trip across part of the Midwest with his son and another couple on a BMW. And as they are going through that trip, he talks philosophy. So he teaches you about philosophy, and it's a mix of fiction and real, because he talks about this character, Phaedro, that is like a Greek character, but he's talking about himself. So he mixes philosophy and events, and he mixes a real character that was himself and went through a lot of troubles with a Greek character that he uses to teach philosophy through that. It's an amazing book, and some things like this, like putting a sheet of paper and write the sequence, I learned from that book. And also he learning from him. Now, before I do the work, I choose where the bike is going to be, so it's a comfortable place. I make sure that I have something to sit on when I'm working on the bike, so I bring a little step that I can use to sit, and I make sure that I have all the tools that I need, and cleaning products and everything. Because one thing that annoys you is when you try to do something and you don't have the right tool, and that is very annoying. Or it starts to get uncomfortable, or you left the bike under the sun and there is a shade right there, but now you cannot move it because the bike is all open and there are things dangling from it, but then you already made the mistake, right? So you put it under a tree or in a shade or in a nice place, and make sure you have water and to drink, and you are not feeling uncomfortable, and then there is no loud music and people interrupting you or phone interrupting, and then you can really put your focus on that and do a great job.
But you give me the name of the book. Usually I don't read too much. I read many things, but know about bike travels or something like that, because when I start for a trip, when I finish the trip, I'm not the same than when I begin the trip.
Sure.
Because I have more experience, different experience, meet some different people, and this exchange changed me a little bit. Not big change, but I have the same, and I still French and everything, but I open my mind, and Is why I tried. It's not I try. I don't refuse, but I don't read too much because I don't want to have something in before. I would be really empty, the max empty page. If I read something about somebody travel, okay, this is his travel, it's not mine travel.
Yeah.
And it's why it's difficult for me, and this is a little bit strange because when I begin, not when I begin, but some years ago, some partner asked me to have a Facebook page, and where I speak some days, okay, I do that, and okay, but it's more and more difficult for me to write something because I think, okay, if somebody will go, if I give to somebody a reason to go, it will be just his trip, no mine trip. And one day I fight with the end, but with the word to somebody tell me, oh, if you go here, this place, do this, and after 2 or 3 days I say, okay, you will go, you will do that, go, but let me. This is my travel. Yeah. I do what I want.
Yeah, I like it to. I used to like to do that a lot. Like give a lot of advice, and I posted the maps of the places that I went to, and things like that. And I reduced. I do it a lot less now because now I imagine in my imagination the places that we go through are like a river. You can never visit the same river twice because it keeps changing, right? So I imagine that way now. What I do though is if I have some information that is current, I give it. Now, like I told you, what is the best Mexican restaurant in this part of the city? Yeah,
and you must eat no chimichanga, but you must eat empanada and this empanada.
Yeah.
No. Okay, I appreciate when somebody like you do and someone in Bunk-a-Biker do something also. If you go in, I don't know, in South Dakota, you must go to Mount Rushmore. Okay, this is, but it's not. You must go to Mount Rushmore because you feel that. No, I feel what I want.
You feel the way you feel.
Yeah, but just I have an indication. It's very precious, and thank you for that, and thank you to the people on Bunk-a-Biker. They told me some information like that, and it's not information; it's just suggestion, But after, this is my opinion, maybe when I see Mount Rushmore, I feel nothing, or I don't know, but maybe it's a great moment, I don't know. I don't know, it's just like everyone is different, and the perception of each one is different. But it's so strange because just before you talk why you start to ride a bike, and I don't know why I start to ride a bike. Since I was young, I would ride the bike.
You don't know how it started for you?
No.
I know exactly how. I was reading that book when it was my chess teacher that gave me that book. And I remember I thought the idea of traveling by motorcycle was so beautiful, and I learned a little about maintenance, but I learned a lot about philosophy in that book, and it's a book that I read again every 10 years. Every 10 years I read it, and I have the same book, so my notes are still there. So sometimes I add notes or I add comments to it. So that copy is very precious to me because it has my notes over several decades, right? But I remember exactly how that book inspired me, and then 2 or 3 years later, I bought my first motorcycle, and then I was hooked.
I don't know. Since I was really, really young, I would have a bike. I would ride a bike. But why? I don't know, because at home, nobody, except when I was really young, I saw a picture of my father on a big bike. But when I was born, no more bike, nothing. And I don't know why, and nobody in my family ride a bike. My brother ride a bike, he's died, but he ride the bike, but not like a biker. It's just he have a bike because he enjoyed, but just before he passed his way, I bring him to make just a round trip, 80 kilometers, and he say, "Oh, this is wonderful." But 80 kilometers is nothing for me, but for him, and we share that together. So
we do that kind of ride to go have an ice cream and come back.
It's a good moment, and in my memory, I keep this. And each time I stop in this village where we just eat ice cream, every time I sing to my brother, and I share this time with him.
Nice.
And it's fun, but I don't know why the bike. I know why. Probably, if I love travel, is genetic. My father moved to Ivory Coast in 1936 when he is just maybe 20 years old. He worked for the French administration, and he quit to go in Africa. And when he come back for the Second War, he stayed, and my two older sisters was born, and 10 years after me. And so my older sister traveled a lot and lived in some years in Canada. My nephew, he was born in Canada. And the two others, the younger girl and my brother, are very, very stay home, stay just. And I travel, and I travel, and I love that, and I can't imagine my life without a travel. And so sometimes it's so funny when I decide to go somewhere. It's like a little bit exciting, and when I prepare for the medical, for the pandemic, for everything for Chile and Argentina. Okay, it's ready. And after I say, no. And as soon as I start, it's forget. And now I leave my home 2 months ago, and I know I don't come back before end of June. But it's just like a space for me. I call to my family. I have some news today. I received some picture about my grandson, and it's good. It's not always easy, but it's what I need. And the traveling, this is my father, and give me. I remember exactly. He gave me when I was young a book, but maybe the name is not. For you, you don't know. The name is Henri de Montfray. This is a man who was born in a very rich family with a noble. I don't know the word in English. Before the family is very, very close, the king and everything, and he is an amazing guy. He go in this time. With no cell phone, no maps, no GPS, and he go from, I don't know, one part in Arabia. He brings slave in his boat, and after he bring gun for the war between two tributes, and it's very, very, very strange. And this man, and I know I would go. I would go. I respect all the rules, but this is part. And it's like when I was in Argentina, when I went to Ushuaia, I stopped in a place, but it's not private. I saw on the road bike museum, and I stopped. But in fact, it's just maybe 15 bikes, no more. And this is a bike of Juan José de Grati. This man in 1960 go with a 175 cc from Ushuaia to Alaska with the road is not the same than today, no GPS, no cell phone. He need to have, he traveled for 3 years to go from Ushuaia to Alaska. And I say, okay, this guy, for me, this I know all the story. When I be back in France, I try to find a book to read. But this is this kind of people we inspire the other to do something. And for me, when I travel, I learn many things on the country where I go. I see different view, and everything could be different. But I'm not the same when I arrive and when I leave. And because something is in, and I will keep that. And I think this kind of people inspire the other. And it's very, very, very important. So maybe one day I will try to do, because this is just what happened on the road. In fact, we stop in Rio Grande, just a town, maybe, I don't know, 300 kilometers or maybe less or more, I don't remember exactly, in this place. And Juan José de Grati is from this town. And I stop in the small place. It's not Bunk-a-Biker, but in Ushuaia you have a Bunk-a-Biker. And this is a Bunk-a-Biker from Ushuaia gave me the name of this place. And I arrive, and this is just only for biker. You arrive, we arrive maybe 3, 4, nobody. We go to get some shower, when we go out, 20 more bike everywhere. And the guys, the MC is Los Hermanos del Viento, because the wind is very, 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 very strong when you go down. And so Hermano del Viento is brother of the wind. And we talk and we go back, and Juan José de Grati was from this MC, and he passed his way in November, and we are in just 3 months after. And with Jay, and we talk story, and they say, okay, this is our club, and we are just 50 bike, and you are from, and give us the patch. Okay, and I say, okay, this guy, Juan José de Grati, if he was born today, probably he ride a trial bike like me, and I would try to do something. I have some I know they are just behind my head, and when I go back, I will speak with Yamaha to do something in memory for this guy, because he don't ride the Yamaha, because in this time in 60 it's just the beginning of Yamaha, and today they don't have all the Yamaha in Argentina. They don't have my Yamaha. They don't have. They have the big B1. And a small one, we don't exist in France, but it's it's not easy, because when you speak with people, it's not easy or easy. It's just some décalage, some difference, because one say, okay, next month I buy a new bike. 84.
1984. It's
no
a new
bike.
Yeah.
And this is something different, because if you say, or if I say, I buy a new bike, it's 22.
No, but also imagine this. My motorcycle is 1998.
Yeah.
Looks fine and it runs very well. But if you have a car that is 1998, it's probably junk.
Yeah, but it is, and this is for me. I remember it's like a lesson, because they are happy with a small bike is 150 kilo and 25 cc only, and he say, but your bike is my dream. But if I have this bike, I don't have enough money to fix it and everything. So I want a bike I can use.
Yeah. What I'm changing cars now from a car that has a lot of electronics and power doors and power this, power that, to an earlier model of the same car that has none of it. Like out the doors, all manual. The windows roll up and down with electric. But other than that, the car is super simple. But then there's nothing to brake, right? And I was thinking about that on my motorcycle. I have a motorcycle that if I have to, I can disassemble everything and I can fix it. I can make a new part with, in a shop, and I can fix that. But if I had I have friends that have like new BMWs and new, KTMs and all that got stuck because the bike broke and it was something in the electronics and they couldn't fix it. And they couldn't. It was like something between the computer and the electronic injection. How do you fix that?
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
Okay, I share your this opinion, but my bike, this one, in fact, is a new bike, but with old fashion.
Yeah.
Because on
so
this
it's
bike,
carburetors and
no, it's injection. Because now with the new rules for the pollution,
emissions.
You can't have anymore carburetor.
Yeah.
Is injection, but the electronic, the only things, and it's not, it's half electronic. The ABS, it's only. I don't have anything. I don't have. I can change my. I don't know. Wheelie and anti-wheelie or for the slide. I have nothing, and it's okay. But one day I have a friend. Before I ride for the road race in Europe, in France and Belgium especially, and Tunisia, and I have a friend. Is retailer KTM, and I ride 3 or 4 years on KTM, and I told him, but too much electronic, and I think, okay, you put the rain mode or the track mode, and the electronic is down. You stay with the mode you have, but your bike you can go. Yes, it's true. But if everything say but with the old one, if you break your clutch or your I don't know the piece key, go like that inside, it's break. You can go nowhere. It's not true, but it's easier to go.
Mechanical systems are more flexible. Like if you know how to cut and weld metal, you can make anything. I have a friend that he had his Valkyrie, like mine, break in Colombia sometime, and he couldn't find, and he broke the wheel and slashed the tire and all that. He couldn't find another one. He adapted. He cut a wheel of a Jeep, and he put it in. And he went all the way to Mexico where he could buy another wheel, right? And tire and everything. But he adapted to go with a piece of a junk car.
Yeah, but right? This country have something very, very interesting for me, and we have lost in US or in Europe, in France or Germany or other country of Europe. They have nothing, so they arrive to fix with nothing. For example, I remember for the first time for the road rally in Tunisia, one Americano-Tunisian guys arrived with Firebird Repsol, and we arrived very, very fast and big deep, and the wheel is just like that, but it's a tubeless. No more, and say, okay, you are out for the race. Do you have another wheel? No, don't worry. I go with him to a small village and arrive to the, I don't know the word in English, the guy with fire, the kids.
And the blacksmith.
Ding, 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 ding. And he fix it. In US or in France, you arrive with say, okay, buy a new one.
No, but I had, for example, problems to solve on my bike, and it's very clear if I have to solve that problem in, let's say, here in US, if I go to the shop, usually I get it done. When I had problems in Germany, I couldn't get anything fixed because you have to first convince them to let you do it. You know, because oh no, but you have a car tire there, but that pump is not original. Like my motorcycle has a fuel pump of a Volkswagen. It has a car tire on it.
Yeah, yeah.
The exhausts are from racing cars. You know, so the exhausts are not original. A lot of things are not. The air filter is not original. A lot of stuff is different. So if I get to a Honda dealer in Germany or Austria, I have to spend most of the time convincing them to let me do it, right?
Yeah.
If I go to a shop here in Miami and I say, hey, put a car tire on it, the guy will go like, okay, dude, that's what you want. I'll do it. I'll do it. If you're sure, I'll do it.
Yesterday I have not funny, but it's something different. Because when I arrive, I'm happy because in Chile they have the same bike, but in Argentina they don't have. So I can't have no parts, and so is why I need to change my oil here. I change in Chile, but they don't have the filter. So I read the filter, and I would change. And arrive here, okay, everything is okay. And I say, maybe look at the brake, because I think we must change the parts, the two parts like that. And they say, okay, but we have a problem. Because why do you have a problem? Because this bike is sold in US too. Yes, but you have a Brembo, and in US it's not Brembo. And he found another model and maybe other brand. You use the same. How you call that, scapular?
The pistons
or
the pads?
No, the big part. The
housing for the brake.
On you have the disc, and you have the part like that.
Yeah.
This part. And
that's the housing. Yeah.
And they say, okay, we found, and this is the model, and we can have the parts, and we put the parts, and so now I'm ready to go to across the United States.
Yeah, I'm very happy at this point with my bike, because it's an old bike that I already had three of the same model. So I'm very familiar with the systems now. Now I know what I need to use original, what I can change. You know, I pretty much know how to fix almost everything. And now I'm going to learn how to take the carbs out and redo the carbs. Because you may notice when we are riding that my bike is running a little rough, but that's okay. I don't want to take it to the shop. I want to fix it myself, because that's the last thing that I don't know how to do it yet. It's fixing the carbs. It will cost me more to do it than if I take it to the shop. Because I'll have to buy the vacuum tubes, I'll have to buy more tools, but I prefer to do it, and then I know how to do it.
Yeah. And this is yours.
Yeah.
But it's
and I want this to be a bike that I'm going to ride at least another year or two. I want to change to a more street bike, like a Ducati at some point, like a Ducati Diavo. That is a bike that I like a lot, but it's an expensive bike, and I'm not ready for that yet. But at some point I will.
Yeah.
Because this bike is amazing, I love it, but it's heavy. It's 800 pounds, and the Ducati is like 500. So it's very, very different ride. Yeah.
But I think today you don't have some years ago, maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you have some good bike and not really good bike. But today I think you can buy any brand you want. You don't have any more not good bike, bad bike.
Yeah,
You have
they'll
just
be good. Yeah,
you must find the bike for the use you have.
Yeah.
If you buy, we are in America, in US. If I buy Harley Davidson to go, and I say I would practice MX, I make a fault. It's not the bike is not it's a good bike, but not for this use.
Yeah.
If you buy Yamaha R1 or Suzuki, J6R, and you will go on the trail, no. If you buy a KTM Adventure or Yamaha, and you will go on the track to try to go faster than Rossi or another one, you make a mistake.
Yeah.
If just you need the bike for your use you have, and after for me it's not really important if you have a Yamaha, Honda or Suzuki or Harley Davidson or Victory or Indian. In fact, some years ago I have many bikes in the same time. And one day, one friend told me, "Why do you have 4 or 5 bikes at the same time?" Because different use. He said, "Yeah, but you have just one ass." Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah. No, but that's true. Like my bike is great on the road, but on gravel, I cannot go any distance on gravel. The bike goes like it's so heavy.
Yeah, it's totally.
And the front tire digs on the gravel.
Yeah.
So I need to correct too much.
Yeah.
And then it has too much power.
And you don't have enough motricity.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I had some scary times in trying to get like visiting people, and they live in a farm, and then from the road to the house that is like 300 meters of gravel. I park right there next to the road,
but
I cannot go through.
I have a friend. He live in the Basque Country like me. He have in a place, amazing place, in the middle of the forest. You go by a trail, and when you arrive close to the house, it's gravel, but it's gravel like that, and any kind of bike you ride, because it's maybe 15 centimeters. Is 15 centimeters. It's like a 5 inches,
5-6 inches. Yeah.
5-6 inches, and you go down.
Yeah.
And if the bike, I'm not very tall. I'm not a basketball player, so my legs, and it's very difficult.
Complicated. Yeah. I'm very interested in your part of the world because I visit France several times, but most of these times I made plans to go to the southwest of France or the west coast of France, and it always failed. My schedule was always got in such a way that I end up not going. And I have friends in Bordeaux that I wanted to visit, and I still didn't.
But when you come to visit your friend in Bordeaux, just 2 hours. I'm here. Come.
Yeah. No. I want to visit, and I want to go again to El Camino. So I would like to visit you first. Yeah.
And Camino is just 50 kilometers from one start of Camino. It's up to 50 because where I live, across the street, you have the Camino across. But this one from the ocean, no the Camino de Frances.
Yeah.
But
I want to.
In what is really interesting is the Basque Country. Okay, it's France or Spain, depending the side, but it's not Spain and no France, because I told you, in the Basque Country you have 3 provinces in France, 4 in Spain. So in 10 kilometers, I show you from my part. The name of the province is Labour to Gipuzkoa, in Spain, Guipúzcoa, 10 kilometers. Everything is different. This is you are in France. The house, the farm are white with all the wooden part to close the window. We don't have here, but to close the window and the door are green or red. This is white, green, and red everywhere. You go 10 kilometers. You arrive in Guipúzcoa, and you arrive. All the house are stone. With the wooden part, brown, and it's really different. It's not a part is in France, so this is political solution. But someone speak French, someone speak Spanish, or the both sides speak in Basque. But the architecture is different. Everything is different. The food is different. Everything is just 10 kilometers. And it's not because I live in this country, but it's very, very interesting. And it's so... it's a small world in
I
the
remember
world.
walking El Camino in some parts where the trail goes along the road, and then people would be riding their motorcycles and going by, and I would be like, oh no, I want to be there. Especially going through the mountains, to the Pyrenees. Oh my God, those roads are gorgeous. That's why I want to go by motorcycle.
The road go very close the Camino, especially in Spain. In France, no, not too much, because you go in the mountain, you go through the Pyrenees. But when you arrive on the Spanish side, in fact, in Basque is Egualde. Egualde, you have the road. Sometimes it's very, very close, and when you ride the bike, you see the guy with a backpack, and the shell.
Yes. That was a very interesting experience. I would say that as a physical challenge, El Camino is too easy.
But you know,
but as a cultural experience, it's amazing.
It's why I surprise everybody. I live in the Basque Country. I never did the Camino, but I said I will go, and said why you will go? Because it's a travel. It's a travel, and like you go slow because you walk, and it's long. It's something like maybe 700 or 800 kilometers from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Santiago de Compostela.
Yeah, it's 500 miles or 800 kilometers. Yeah.
And in fact, the end is not in Santiago.
Yeah, most people go to Finisterre.
Usually, you make like a wish, something, and when you arrive at the end, you pull off in the sea.
Yeah.
And
that sounds like a good idea to me. It's just another 2 or 3 days, and then you actually reach the ocean.
And I will go because it's like you have time. You go alone or you go with somebody, but you don't stay every time with a person. You when you walk, you are alone, and it's like I don't know if it's a good word in English, introspection.
Yeah,
introspection, or you can think about your life, your fault, your success, your everything, and what you can do to be a better person.
You can plan a new life. That's the beauty of pilgrimages. Pilgrimages, you redesign your life.
Is why I will go one day. Okay. And I hope I have time to do.
Who knows? Maybe this summer. Now that we see that Europe is reopening after COVID, and apparently things are going to be okay.
Probably because France, in fact, in May, April or May, we have the president election, and probably they must open everything because they must everybody go to vote and all this stuff. And when I spoke with my family, everyone told me slow they put, okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, and you can see this all over the world. When I arrived in Chile 2 months ago, you must prove many things. It's very, very difficult. You must ask 1 month before you prove what is your first injection, which should you have, the number of the law, I don't know the word in English. You don't prove everything, and it's very, very, very complicated. I'm happy because I'm lucky, I'm lucky because my girlfriend, her son lived in Chile for 20 years ago, and it take all my. She called me. She was in Chile at this time, and she called me and say, "Send me all your paper," and we go to the ministry of the health ministry, and they get the paper just maybe 3 days before I go. I wait for 1 month this paper, and it's very difficult, but. Now it's like in Miami, where you go, you're supposed to have the mask everywhere, but in fact, when you go...
No, here you're not supposed to have a mask anywhere.
No, nobody have.
Florida...
I arrived with mine.
No, Florida, for a long time already, the rule is a business can require, because it's a private business, they can't require anything. They can require that you have a funny hat if they want to, but the state does not require.
Because this is a different way in France. You must have, but for when you have a restaurant or something like that, if you lose more than 50% of your regular income, no income, but what you do, you have a restaurant. I don't know. For example. You at the end of the month you sell for 100,000 euro. If this month, the same month during the pandemic, you have just 45,000, the government give you 55,000. So it's the same, but it's better than the same because you pay nobody. You don't pay the electricity, you don't pay the gas, and it's why it's very. But
France does things very differently than any other place.
But you know, it's different, but it's not better or worse. It's just different.
I think it's peculiar.
It's different.
But here in Florida, we enjoyed a very minimal amount of lockdowns and regulations, and they let us do pretty much whatever we. It's. I don't like to use those words. They let us do. No, here they just recognize that they don't have the authority to tell you what to do, in which in almost every place they don't have that authority. They did it anyway. I don't want to get into a political rant. But I just want to say that I'm very happy that I am in Florida.
But it's not worse or better. It's just different. But it's so funny because it's not funny. It's just surprising. Like for me, I have a friend. I have a restaurant, and I told him the second time the pandemic, you must close the restaurant. And say, "Oh wow, it's hard for you." I say, "No, I go on vacation. They give me the money. I go on vacation." But maybe we have too much assistance from the government in France, and but it's like that in
France is a little different. France is not just different in one little aspect. Almost everything else, like from the way you guys produce your power to the way you manage your healthcare, everything has a certain way to do that is particularly French. And so in certain ways it works. And in many situations in politics, France ends up being the one that is different. And in some things it doesn't work, but in many aspects it does. Like one that I notice now is this with the war in Iraq, that they are France is independent enough that they decided to help Ukraine, not Iraq, Ukraine. They decide to help Ukraine more directly, and they can do it because they are not so dependent on Russia. You know, they are their relationship with NATO is always a little bit different.
And plus Europe.
Yeah, so it's like France is Europe. It is part of it, but it likes to do things its own way, which irritates the rest of Europe very often. But sometimes you see the logic in it. Okay, all right, okay, it works for them, you know. So I find France very peculiar. But let me tell you an experience that I had there that I like to share. I was around Montpellier, and I was coming from the north. I was coming from, I don't remember the name of the city, but I had to go through near that bridge, Millau, the Millau Bridge. I didn't go through the Millau Pass. Millau, yeah. I didn't go through, but I was near. But I was coming from the north and towards Montpellier. And it was late afternoon, and I thought, okay, I'm going to camp somewhere. And there was this farm, and it had a sign that I understood that they sell wine. I thought, well, let's improvise. So I got the motorcycle into the farm, and I went to the house and knocked on the door, and I said, hey, I would like to try your wine. And they were very happy. Oh yeah, please come over. And they had this spread with breads and cheeses and all kinds of things, right? And they had their wines. And they said, oh, have as much as you want. And they gave me a glass of this and a glass of that. And we were talking about the trip. So you're riding a motorcycle and all that. So I had some glasses and ate some food and all that. And I said, well, I would like to buy a couple bottles of your wine. And they were very happy to sell it to me. And it was cheap, like in euros, it was little. Right, and then I was going out. I said, "Look, I think I had too much wine. I shouldn't be riding anymore. Would you mind if I camp on your farm?" And they said, "Yeah, absolutely. Under that tree, make our tent right there." And I end up spending the night there. And I told this to a friend of mine, and she said that there is a network of people that travel in RVs all over Europe, and all the wineries and all the places that sell whatever, cheese or meat or whatever, you can go and you can stay in their farm with the RV, and all you have to do is go and sample their product, and you buy if you want, but you can stay for free in the farm. I thought, this is amazing. I love this network. She said, yeah, but that one is for RV only. No, they don't even honor that deal if you're in a car. It has to be RV. I said, all right, but I did that by motorcycle.
But
anyway. And that was awesome. It was great wine. I had a great time, and we could barely understand each other, but it was so funny.
But it's like everywhere. Sometimes, usually, for sure, France is really different than Germany or US or Canada. But in the same time, maybe this time you found somebody like that, and next time another place, the guy say no, we don't have a camp, we don't a campsite, or it's like everywhere you have a.
Oh, by the way, let's back to stereotypes. That is the stereotype that French don't like Americans, that they don't want to speak English, and things like that. But one day someone said that to me. No, you go there, nobody speaks English. I say, yeah, but if you go to Tennessee, nobody speaks French. You know, like they are speaking their language.
Okay.
It's okay. So, but then there is the stereotype that they are going to be impatient and they don't want to help and they ignore you. I never found it. No, I never found a French that was not helpful to me. They may exist, but what I explain to people is that French, they don't just like Americans. French just like everyone. They just like the Spanish, the Germans, the Italians, the English, and they even just like French from other parts of France.
Yeah,
you guys are tough on each other.
But in fact, I think this is my opinion. It's just my opinion. It's really different when you travel alone.
Yeah.
And with a bike.
Yeah.
And more with a bicycle.
Yeah.
Than with a car.
Oh, yeah.
If you are with a car, you are inside a box.
Yeah.
So if somebody will speak to you, first, it's very rare from the United States. You bring your car in France, so you have French plate. Yeah. They don't know. They don't go to see you.
Yeah.
If you travel alone on your bike, it's easy to come because you don't have a box. And
I had many times, even in France, that I park my bike, all right? And by the time I taken the helmet and the gloves off, there are French people already next to me inviting me for dinner. Okay, because they see the license plate and now they want to talk.
Yeah, but it's the same thing from here. When I arrive in Miami, 24th, I arrive. With Jay, I say, okay, he tried to call the cargo and we don't have an answer. He get a number in New York. I say, we are in Miami. I say, okay, we go to the place, and when we are just in front of the person, it's different than just a call or an email or a short messenger, or I don't know.
Yeah, in person
we go
is
and
much
say,
better.
Okay, it's between 1 hour and 4 hours. I say, okay, we go back to Midtown Place and we come back. Promise you, I'll call you. And she called, the lady called at 8, so the following morning we go on 25th. We go to the cargo and everything is okay. So fast for Jay, we go to the custom, and in the custom, like a surprise. Oh, but the second one is French with my passport. Okay, I'm French, but I arrive in the United States with all the documentation, extra and everything I need. Okay. Do you have something for your bike exemption? Yes, EPA exemption. I show the bike. Think, okay. And give me the bike registration. And I give the bike registration. Oh, his bike is French. But your plates are US? No, French. This is my bike. Oh, I call the chef, I don't know, and he explained to me, no, you must go to a broker, and I'm saying, it's a story, but it's very strange. And the guy, one asked me, but I'm not sure. You speak English? Yes, a little. I'm not fluent English, but I speak. And before you speak Spanish with the other guy? Yes, a little bit, because I live close the Spanish border. But you are French. Yes, I'm French. He don't understand. And after he told me, oh, I think the French speak only French. Yes. Yes, usually, but
you can learn other languages.
Yeah, we can learn. It's like US. Many US, like you say, maybe in Idaho, nobody speak French.
Yeah.
But this is funny, because this morning I have one exchange with a lady from Bunk-a-Biker, because I put some just the one you see, and she told me, oh, you can go this place, this is nice. Okay, and she say, oh, it's a surprise, because I'm sorry, I don't speak French because the U.S. Education system is not very clear to learn other language. And I said, don't worry, in France is the same.
Same thing,
and
yeah.
This is a surprise because often people ask me, where do you learn to speak English? And in fact, when I was at school, when I went at school, I don't like the language. I don't like French, I don't like Latin, I don't like Spanish, I don't like English, I prefer mathematics and everything. And after I play ice hockey, and all my coach are from Canada or from US. And I live just on the ocean, so I go in the summertime to surf. And so arrive South African, from South Africa, from Australia, from New Zealand, from California, from Florida. And I speak, when I go surf, I speak in English. And it's where I learned to speak English, not at school.
Yeah, you learn in practice. That's great. Yeah.
And the first time, I remember when I went in Hawaii, the first time when I went in US, I have just a phone number from American guys, and I go to the public phone and I hear, but I don't know. I hear somebody. I say, I don't understand. I try again. And in fact, I don't know because it's not like that in France. The voice told me, okay, to call you need to put $1.50.
Yeah, it's not my friend talking.
And it's so funny. And like that, I learned. And when I was in Hawaii, first time my friend come back home and say, oh, Clyde, the phone rang, but I don't answer. Oh, answer, but I don't understand. Try, and we see. And it's not fluent. I make many mistakes, but I arrive to speak for some different things about bike travel or different things, and it's okay. And it's like in South America with my Spanish. My Spanish is worse. My Spanish is worse than my English, but my accent in Spanish is better than my accent in English.
Okay. So what is your plan now? After tomorrow, you will be going north.
No, after tomorrow I go to the Keys.
To the Keys tomorrow.
To the Keys, and after Everglades, Port Charlotte, to Crystal River, and after across to go to Daytona. Just I don't want to spend all the week, but I will see the bike weeks in Daytona because I think it's something different. It's like in Russia. I go for the events in Russia, and I don't go to Russia for the event, but like the event is, I will see the same thing. And after I go, I don't know, on the way to California.
I'll definitely introduce you to 2 or 3 friends along the way.
And in California, and after when I arrive in California, I have some friends. This is so funny. I have 2 friends, one girl, one guy. The girl is from Biarritz. The guy is from Anglet. They moved. Robert moved maybe 40 years ago. In US, it's married, have a daughter and everything. And Angelique is moved maybe 20 years ago. And she moved in San Diego and moved to San Francisco. And now the boss, she don't know him, him don't know her. And the boss live in Oceanside. So I call to have a dinner, but I introduce the boss. They live in the same town.
Nice.
And the boss are French, and it's so funny. And after I go back, and it's why I go in California, because I went many times in California. And the other reason is because I will go across, because it's my first real trip in '82, and I will go from California to Nevada across the Death Valley, and I will go painting palette again. I will see again painting palette in the Dust Valley. It's a small trail, and you arrive all the mountain has blue, yellow, orange.
Okay.
I will see that again.
That's nice.
And after I go to the north, and in fact I go from Florida to California, and I go up and back from the west coast to the east. Not the east. I will go across the Middle West because, like we talked the other day, I think this is maybe, in my imagination, this is the real roots of United States of America.
Yeah.
Because, okay, when people arrive from Europe or other country, they arrive in the East Coast and they arrive in Boston, in New York, because this is a big harbor, and before Florida, and they go, and after they go to the West Coast, and so the coasts are very, and I see, I'm not sure, but maybe if we look at the demography, on the most of people live on the East Coast and West Coast than the middle.
Yeah, the middle is a little more empty, and it's also more. It's more industry and agriculture.
Yeah.
So it's. I like to joke that it's more work in the middle and party on the edges, you know. and then politically, it's always very divided. In terms of lifestyle, it's very divided. So it's very interesting to get to know the Midwest.
Yeah.
It's nice. They are extremely nice people.
Yeah, it's why I will go, because I think it's.
You are going to see the work ethic being very strong. You're going to see that the way they treat you is different.
Maybe it's not true what I think, but for me, okay, when the people arrive 200 and more years ago, they arrive from Europe to United States and to build what is now USA. And they arrive, someone arrived to do something in the East Coast, the other one go to the West Coast to have a chance, and someone stay in the middle for many reasons or any reason.
We make a lot of jokes about that.
but they go and maybe they are closer than the people who arrived 200 and more years ago. Because something is very, not difficult, but I don't like too much when I travel. It's at the beginning when I travel, everything you arrive in US from France is really different. Now, for example, when I went to Russia, I go through Azerbaijan, and I think, Azerbaijan, I could see people different, really different. Yeah, it's different, it's poor and everything, but the people, when I see Nike, they before, when I was young, between France and Spain, when arrived the people from Spain, just when the clothes they wear, you know they are Spanish, and they know they are French.
There is a certain sameness across the world now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You go in Azerbaijan, or you go in like you want. Nike.
Yeah, you can go anywhere in the world, and they are holding the same phones. They are driving the same cars, and they wear the same clothes.
You arrive and you have an iPhone. No, I have Samsung. See, now big difference. Huawei. So
yes, you are going to. I think you are going to enjoy the Midwest a lot. And I'm pretty sure that America is going to enjoy your company, because you're funny and you're cool.
And it's like I love the what said Jay about where he live. He live in South Dakota, Philip in South Dakota, and he have something like that. He say, I live a small village, is 900 people in the village, more cows than people, but
more cows than people,
more cows than people, but we have a nice girl behind each trees.
Yeah.
And I say, no.
Nice,
and he say, but we don't have a tree.
Yeah. Nice girl behind every tree, but almost no trees there.
Yeah. Exactly. This is funny, and at the same time is very important for me, is because if you for me, this is just I say for me, you can laugh about everything, but if you would laugh about something, you must be ready to laugh on you first.
Oh yeah.
If you don't like, if you want to joke somebody, you must accept they make it.
Exactly.
If you can't accept, don't do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, Christophe, it's a privilege to have you here. You know, the moment you sent me a message, you sent me a message on SMS actually, right? Yeah. But you mentioned that you were from Bunk-a-Biker and all that, and I said, okay, add me on Facebook. And when I look at your Facebook profile, I thought, I want to meet this guy because it was just the photos. And I didn't even look at your profile too much. I just saw the first 5 or 6 photos, and I thought, I want to meet this guy. You know,
the first photo is all photo is when I went in Canada for hockey camp. I go to close the Labrador in the name is Menga. It's far away from everything. This is the first time I saw some signs very funny. Just two things. I saw signs, McDonald's, only 80 kilometers.
Only 80 kilometers.
And another one, I arrived to the gas station, I put gas and I go buy some stuff to eat. And a lady with the cashier speak, and outside she have an helmet. Outside, one guy with a big bike, and she asked, next town is far. Oh, you go out the gas station, you turn right, and it's 40 kilometers. And the lady is. She is upset. She doesn't want to go anymore on the bike. And the lady, the Canadian lady, say, "Let me say that by another way." Why? It's better for you. So you go out the gas station, you turn right, and the next light you are in the town.
On the next light.
This true is not the same. When the next light, you don't know. And
good way to think about it.
It's very far. And so this picture is. I had the privilege to go with biologist. With Richard Sist is the first guy we make. I don't know the name. Research on the whales in the world, and I with 2 biologists of this team, we go to make biopsy on the whales and everything with a small Zodiac, and we spend all the day on the Zodiac. But the water is very cold. If you fall in the water, you have max 5 minutes alive.
Yeah.
So you have a big combination with neoprene inside and with a belt. And he say when you stop to eat, you can't pull off the jacket, not the jacket, but the top of the clothes. But keep your belt because it's the only things to grab you if you fall. And that is a very nice memory because you are just one friend, me, 2 biologists and 2 students on the Zodiac, and we follow the whales 13 hours.
Wow,
and
that sounds
biology
interesting.
with I don't know the name. No, it's not a gun. It's like comment on appelle ça un arc. with like an arrow, but it's like a gun with a
with a little ball.
arbalète.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and with it's not arrow, it's just like a tube, and we up, and inside you divide, and you have all the
a
part.
sample.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they send in. I don't remember exactly. I think they send in. Somewhere in UK, they send to have the things and take picture, because each one the tail are different, and so they have a name and everything. And we saw for the first time the baby of one they follow for many years, because something strange. The whales in the north hemisphere go from the Arctic to the equator and back. Never they go in the south, and the south never they go in the north.
No.
No.
Interesting. I thought they did.
No, they stop. They don't know why. They make half, and the other half.
I didn't know that.
I don't know why. But it's big. The first one you have in the boat is smaller than the room. Yeah. And I saw the whale say, "Oh," he said, "Go to the other side and see." And I go, and you see just the wing. And say, "Oh, but if she do that, don't worry, never arrive." We don't know why, but never arrive. But it's edge, really, and this is my pic on Facebook, and it's all the one. But I don't want to change, because each time I watch it, I think about.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Excellent, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate that you took the time.
Me too.
To talk to us. And
next time I try to practice and have a better English.
Me too. I'll try. So now we are going to go for a ride. I'm going to show you a little bit of Miami.
Yeah, please.
And I appreciate this. Just a note, final note about Ukraine. This video is being done while a lot of my friends in Ukraine are still dealing with an occupation, and I wish them the very best. I hope things will turn out okay, but I understand that the cost of getting to okay is very high, and I hope they do well. That is, we are looking to see if we find ways to help more. But until then, just have my great wishes, and I hope you guys will be okay. All right. Thank you, and bye bye.